In today's video, I'm going to break down my 5 favorite draft selections, 5 selections that I think will make the best impact on their team and, the best fit. Let's start off with number 1, Mike Green to the Baltimore Ravens. Now, the accusations, the allegations, is 2 different cases he's dealing with, and that's why we saw him slide all the way to the 2nd round, pick 59. But I'm going to trust that the Ravens did their homework. They, looked through all avenues with this, and John Harbaugh, this organization, this culture, it's a great culture. It's a great foundation. It's the perfect place to, take on players and not only help them be a better football player, but be a better person as well. We saw with Jalen Carter, the concerns about his off the field issues. He went to the Eagles, dominated as a player. We really haven't heard much about him since those incidents. So hopefully the same cases for Mike Green. Hopefully, all the accusations, all that stuff is untrue, by the way, too. So really like what he could provide for the Ravens. This is the guy that's the 2nd best edge prospect in this draft class. Phenomenal player, led college football and with sacks, 17 and a half, 81 tackles, 23 TFLs, 60 quarterback pressures too. So this guy, the tape is there. He could be a dominating game wrecker for the Baltimore Ravens, and they're missing that off the edge. Quarterbacks playing the Baltimore Ravens had a lot of time to dissect that defense. The secondary, you made them work a little more too. But towards the back end of the season, the Baltimore Ravens, their defense picked up. But Zach Orr getting an edge rusher like this, Kyle Van Noy is somebody that can mentor him and take him under his wing. Matabuke up the middle too. And Owe off the other side, who just had 10 sacks this last season. This pass rush for the Baltimore Ravens could get really scary. People are concerned about Mike Green not being that guy that could step into high-level competition and produce, but he had a sack against Ohio State. He bull rushed the hell out of Josh Connerly at the Senior Bowl. The Combine, he was phenomenal. So I think coming into Baltimore, this is like the perfect landing spot for him, everything considered. On some boards, he was the 11th best prospect. With his high motor, he can win in so many ways. He can bull rush. He showed that in the Senior Bowl, like I said, against Josh Connerly. He has great bend ability. He can win with quickness. So he could beat tackles and offense linemen in so many different ways. So he's going to be a matchup nightmare off the edge. I think he'll be exactly what Baltimore needs to. So this defense, getting Malachi Starks too in the back end with Kyle Hamilton, and having Roquan Smith leading the charge as the leader of that defensive secondary. Marlon Humphrey just had an all-pro season last year. Nate Wiggins had a great rookie season. Mike Green on this defense, huge addition. You cannot overlook it. Luther Burden to the Chicago Bears. This is another seamless fit. This is a huge addition for the Chicago Bears. Getting a weapon like this in the slot. Ben Johnson, in press conferences, he said they still want to, upgrade that position. They didn't have a J-Mo type of weapon. Now they get Luther Burden. DJ Moore type of weapon. Another DJ Moore in this Bears offense. You can never have enough of those guys who could create explosive plays, especially with Caleb Williams, make things easier on him. So having a guy like this who could take it to 6, who could take it for 6 at any given point in the game is a game changer. They said he's like Deebo Samuel with speed. 1K season as a sophomore, big year that year at Mizzou, but last season, offense was cheeks, quarterback was cheeks. Brady Cook didn't have his best season, so I think that, caused Luther Burden to have a lesser production season, but in the NFL, he's going to translate well. I saw Elite Takes, shout out Elite Takes, love his content. He said, Luther Burden could be the Brian Thomas Jr. of this, draft class, and if the Bears could get that would be scary. And a 1,000-yard receiver in the slot position as that 3rd receiver would be huge. The Bears could potentially have the offense that we thought they were going to have last year, but younger and less expensive. So I expect a big year out of Luther Burden as a rookie. He could be somebody that's an underrated candidate for Offensive Rookie of the Year. You have Ben Johnson, one of the most creative minds in the NFL, with a toy and a gadget like Luther Burden. Watch out. Cam Skattebo going to the New York Giants. I really like this selection a lot. Him and Tyron Tracy. You have a 1-2 punch that is thunder and lightning. Tyron Tracy is a faster running back. He's explosive, more explosive. But Skattebo, he's somebody that's just relentless. He has that motor. He has that conditioning in him. Like, he'll do everything for the football team to win. Put the team on his back with Arizona State. 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing touchdown. He has a receiving ability too. He can catch the ball out the backfield, make plays, make people miss. He's not going to give up. He's one of those guys that you just got to keep hitting and wait and hope and pray that they go down at some point. Great contact balance, elite running back, elite football IQ as well, runs angry, trucking defenders, you need the whole defense to take him down. Tyron Tracy is going to be that guy that's going to run away from defenses. He's going to make the big plays for the Giants offense, but Scadaboo is going to be somebody that's going to wear teams down, wear defenses down. It's going to, like, little by little, because that's what happened at Arizona State. Little by little, then he was breaking those big runs in the third or fourth quarter. So Saquon Barkley, losing him, the Giants are always going to have that stain on them, but having Tyron Tracy and Scadaboo, it's going to be really nice this year in the backfield. He's the only running back besides Genty this season to force 100+ missed tackles. This season in 13 games, 1,700 yards rushing, 21 touchdowns, and 605 yards receiving with 3 touchdowns in that category too. So I'm excited to see what Brian Dable could cook up with him. Jameis Winston, Russell Wilson is going to have a nice backfield to work with. And it's a solid offensive line that's getting better and better year after year with the New York Giants. Kyle Williams to the New England Patriots. Drake May gets a huge weapon. I love this for the Patriots. The Patriots had one of the best drafts that we saw this draft class. Kyle Williams, deep play threat, best pick of round 3 in my opinion. He averaged 13 yards after the catch last season. He was one of the best deep threats in college football. He had 6 touchdowns with 20+ yards. Great separator. He could beat any coverage. Shifty receiver. Fantastic yak guy, can force missed tackles too, not just, speed. With his frame and his size, you could put him anywhere. You could put him outside, you could put him in the slot. He can win deep, and Stephon Diggs can win underneath. So Drake May gets his weapon, gets somebody that, hey, I think he could come in New England and be a 1,000-yard receiver right out the gates. Last season, he had 70 catches, almost 1,200 yards receiving. This is a fantastic playmaker, huge weapon for Drake May. I'm excited to see what he cooks up with him and Stephon Diggs now next season, and a better offensive line. So shout out to the Patriots. They coming. The Broncos taking Jahdae Barron. This is a huge selection for them. I know at this position, we expected Amarian Hampton. We expected a playmaker for this offense, but the Broncos are taking a different approach. They're trying to make this defense as dangerous as possible. Now, Riley Moss was already a solid backup corner. I liked McMillan, but those guys, they could be better. Adding Jahdae Barron, versatility, one of the most versatile defenders in this draft class, the highest graded zone coverage corner in this draft class, and that's what, the Broncos run a lot. They run a lot of cover 3. This was a BPA selection for the Broncos, and I think on the board, I would have took him too. You can't let a player like this slip by. Having to play these teams, that are high powering, teams like the Chiefs, team like the Chargers, the Raiders are getting a lot of weapons. You need to be able to compete. You need to be able to stop those offenses. And we saw what the Eagles did to the Chiefs. They whooped on them. The Broncos now could possibly do that with Greenlaw, the 49ers safety as well. The secondary is getting better. Pat Surtain, won Defensive Player of the Year last year. Now you get Barron in the mix, who could play everywhere on the defense, slot, nickel, outside, could even play safety, play that star position for you. So this is a huge get for the Broncos. This guy won the Jim Thorpe Award last season, has a great football IQ. He had a 4.39 40-yard dash, fast. I like, Barron and now Surtain. This defense is going to be lethal, scary as hell. Watch out for the Broncos next season. This is one of the better teams in the AFC now. Some people thought the NFC North was going to be the worst division in football this season. They thought it was going to be as bad as the NFC South.